Another one of my subscribers wanted me to talk about the drugs in the gay community in the 70s. I'm going to start off with 1960. That's when I got my very first taste on altered reality. My name is Eric, and welcome to the craziness that lives inside my head. So, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, so a subscriber want to know my experience with the drugs situation in the gay community in the 70s. And the reason why I say I want to start off with the 60s is I have to set the stage on the type of kid I was. I was one of these kids that love to twirl around the room. You know how you twirl around the room? I used to do it in the playground. You twirl around the room and then you stop and everything is dizzy and everything. I loved it. I loved the feeling of having things flying around me because I was very dizzy. So that was my first addiction to dizziness and acting crazy. I just loved the feeling. So moving on forward, let's move forward. I was a kid. I was a young kid. I like that. Now I'm still a kid, but I'm in fifth grade. No, yeah, it was fifth grade. I know you might think that's kind of young, but in the fifth grade, they weren't really friends of mine. You know, friends of friends. So they was trying to get me to. When I went to school, you had lunch period. And right after lunch period, they let you out into the playground before you go, they send you back in to spend the rest of the day. So while that little period that we were in the playground, there was these friends of friends. They weren't my friends, but, they were doing something in the back of kind of like the back of the building. Still in sight with the teachers. They could still see us. So they had a paper bag, and they were breathing in the paper bag. And I said, "What are you guys doing?" They say, "Here, take a snort of this." So I did. I took a snort of it, and wow, that dizzy feeling came back. That high. That I can't explain it. That like you just want to fly came back. And what they were doing, they were snorting glue. Which when I smelled it, I remembered it because I kind of smelled. I used to have airplanes, those model planes and model toys. They come in a box and you take the glue and you glue them together. And I remember that smell. And I remember trying to do it at home, But they did it in the paper bag. They take the paper bag and pour the glue, squeeze the glue out in the paper bag, and then cover it, hold it up to your nose, and you breathe it in, and there you go. That was my second experience with altered reality. And still in school, I think I was 13 years old, my friend Gregory, he lived next door to me, up there on Lennon Boulevard in Brooklyn. He came on my door after school. He knocked on my door. He said, "I got something to show you." I said, "Okay, what you got to show me?" So he took out a Lucky Strike, a cigarette. Took out a Lucky Strike. Now Lucky Strikes I don't know if they had this back in the day. The menthols, the filters. Lucky Strike, because my step-grandfather used to smoke Lucky Strike because they had no filters. So I don't know, at this time, I don't know if it had a filter or not. But he put out a Lucky Strike and he lit it and he took a puff. He gave it to me. He said, "Try it, man. This is really good. Try it." So I did try it. I didn't inhale because I was doing it. He said, no, you got to inhale this. I said, "No, I'm not inhaling this." And I looked at it and I said, "In fact, I don't even like this. You can't eat this." So, so that's why mainly I never got into cigarettes. That was my one and only, well, not my only experience with it. I did try smoking a cigarette when I got older. I just couldn't take to the cigarettes. And that's my experience in the 60s. Wasn't much. It wasn't much. You might say, well, you were young, you didn't know. No. But I'm mentioning this because this was the beginning of my craziness. You just heard the craziness that lives inside my head.